I love steak. I mean, who doesn't love steak? But I'm thinking, if I'm gonna cook steak myself, what does a guy gotta do? Luckily, I have Chef AJ right here, and he's gonna tell me that it's actually not as hard as it seems. And he's gonna teach me how to cook steak depending on the occasion. So let's start with cooking steak for someone you really want to impress. Like the girl you're asking out on a dinner date.
So we start seasoning our steak with salt. And after that, we add the pepper. Then place your steak in the bag. So once we put the steak, we add the rosemary and garlic. Put inside the sous vide machine. We want to make the steak submerge underwater. We're gonna add a bit of oil. Remember, the steak is already cooked inside. So right now, we're just gonna sear outside. So be careful, it's gonna be hot. I prefer using the fat first so that the fat will render out. We're gonna sear the sides. So it takes at least 2 to 3 minutes. So sometimes it takes 2 or 3 flips just to make it more even. So we're done. I'll place the steak here first, just to rest.
The fat of the steak for me is one of the favorite parts. For me, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the taste. It has all the flavor inside of it.
The steak is ready to be cut.
So from cooking for a dinner date, now we move on to the next occasion, which is probably the first thing that comes to mind when you cook steak, which is grilling for a big party.
So we're gonna use a grill pan.
Okay.
So we do the same thing. We add salt, pepper, and same ingredients, but we're just gonna cook it in a different way. So just a brush of oil. So doing the grill marks, we tend to do a 2 to 4 o'clock. If you know the clock, right?
Yeah.
You have a 2 and 4, so
Okay.
you can do that. So after half searing, we're gonna turn it to 2 o'clock. So you're gonna get that diamond shape grill, yeah. We're gonna grill it a bit. So we're done. I mean, we're almost done. So I'm gonna serve it so that it rests before we can cut it. Okay.
Now we're gonna move on to one of my favorites, which is Bros Hangouts. What's the difference this time if we're gonna cook for my bros?
This time we're gonna use an iron skillet. So it's the same.
Iron skillet.
Yeah, same with the sous vide. We're just gonna sear it. After searing, then we're gonna put it in the oven.
Salt first. And pepper. You gotta start with a hot pan.
Yeah, we're very high.
Learning a lot. Fat first.
Fat first.
Fat first.
So as you can see, the difference from searing using cast iron to a regular pan is that the crust will be more thick. Now, after 1 minute of turning, we can add the garlic. Just few cloves.
So we add the garlic once it turns brown.
Yeah. And 1 whole sprig of rosemary. From that, we can actually put it in the oven. The oven is around 180 degrees Celsius.
How long do we leave it in here?
At least 10 minutes.
So we have the steak here right now.
So right now, we're gonna rest it.
Perfect. If we're gonna, for example, if I'm watching a game right now and we have to finish the quarter before we cook this, like we need
So
this.
you won't miss the game,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. So after resting the steak for 3 to 5 minutes, we will now slice it up for the bros. So we're now down to our last way of cooking the perfectly cooked steak, and this method is the simplest and most straightforward to use. So this method is perfect if you just have a random craving of steak, or if you have an impromptu night with your friends, or you're basically alone by yourself wanting to watch a movie and you're hungry. And this is the best way to cook the steak.
We're going to use a simple pan and butter and some garlic and herbs. That's it. Just to elevate something simple, we're going to add butter on the last part of the cooking. What's going to happen is going to be creamier in texture and taste. We're just going to add oil. Why? Because we're going to add more butter after. So we're going to sear the steak like 1 minute for each side. Then we're going to add the butter. So
I love
be generous with the butter, okay? So at least 1 big tablespoon. Tilt the pan. And we baste it. So we can add crushed garlic just for aroma and some fresh rosemary.
So butter is the secret ingredient for this.
Yes.
He's gonna put the sauce on top. Damn! So are we gonna try them, Chef?
Yeah, sure.
I'm enjoying so much.
Of all the methods we did, what stands out for you?
Actually, well, I love the grill, but the thing is, I'm used to the grill because that's always how I have my steak. So this one really stood out. The butter actually added a lot of flavor. I never really eat steak cooked that way. And it's so cool because this one can be cooked anytime, anywhere. Super simple and not just simple, very effective in terms of flavor and everything. So there you have it. That is 4 different steaks for 4 different occasions. And after Chef AJ's guidance, I figured out it's actually not as hard as I thought it would be. Thank you so much, Chef. Try these methods and show off your skills in the kitchen. But guys, that's not the only way for you to step up. Make sure you're always confident and ready to impress by looking good and smelling good. Whatever the occasion may be, don't forget to spray on a cool fragrance like Axe.